Good evening. At this time, we're going to go ahead and get started with the regular commission meeting for Monday, October 7th, 2024. If I can please have the city clerk call the roll.
Commissioner Avila-Vasquez? Present. Commissioner Colwell?
He's here.
Commissioner Harriet?
Present.
Commissioner McCool?
Here.
Commissioner Shimkus?
Here.
Vice Mayor Jody Lee?
He's here.
Mayor Avila?
Here. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Commissioner Avila-Vasquez for the invocation and the pledge to the flag, as well as the presentation of the honoring of our military personnel veteran.
Thank you, Mayor. If we can all please stand, I would like to call Nick Pizza up to the podium to do the invocation. You're welcome to join us if you want to, and then we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, that does it. You know, I'm in music. You think I would know that, wouldn't you? Anyway, it's all good. Good evening. It's good to see you all. Please bow your heads with me. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the privilege we have to come to you tonight in prayer and seeking your guidance and your advice, seeking your insight and understanding and your wisdom, seeking your spirit to fill each and every one in this very place tonight, Lord God, asking you to help us and guide us with your great wisdom, insight, and understanding, and that you would be in this very place, helping through the decision-making, Father God, that's here for the betterment of the city of Deltona and its residents. We thank you for that, Lord God. We ask you, Father God, to also join with us in our prayers for this new storm that has developed out there in the coast, but we know that, Lord God, you know where it is, you know what it is, and we can trust you, Father God, to do what needs to be done for us, protecting your citizens of the state of Florida, not only us, Father God, but also the workers and all the visitors that are in our communities, our dwelling places, Father God, and especially here in Deltona, Father God. We just ask you, Father, to do the things that most people wouldn't even believe that you could do. Maybe bring that cold front down would be a good idea, and let us shear this storm and end it, Father, and we'll just give you the glory and praise and honor. So bless us, Heavenly Father. Forgive our erring ways. Grant us strength to serve thee and put purpose in our days. Give us understanding enough to make us kind, so we may judge all people with our hearts and not our minds. Teach us to be patient in everything we do, content to trust your wisdom and to follow after you. And help us when we falter. Hear us when we pray, and receive us in thy kingdom to dwell with thee someday. Amen. See ya. Nice one.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I know the mayor was trying to tell me something. For some reason, I have air in my ears. Couldn't understand. But as we know, every commissioner, when it's time for them to do the Pledge of Allegiance and stuff, they're asked to honor one of our local veterans who serve in the military. And I have the honor to honor a very close and dear friend of mine, a longtime resident here of the city of Deltona, and a retired 30-year Sergeant Major Army veteran, Edwin Lasanta. I will read his bio, but we want to get over this meeting real quick. But I just want to say that Edwin was selected as a U.S. Army recipient of the Distinguished National Image Inc. Award in fiscal year 1998. He's accomplished a lot of different awards and medals during his 30 years being in the military, and we thank you for that, Edwin. So it says, certificate of recognition presented to Edwin La Santa, Sergeant Major, retired U.S. Army, specialized in senior retention program management. Thank you for your service from 1973 to 2004. Sergeant Major La Santa managed and supervised the retention operations for a major Army command consisting of 22 Army career counselors and provided retention support to over 10,000 soldiers. He ensured retention objectives were met, conducted inspections of retention programs at 20 different Army installations in continental United States, and ensured compliance with Department of the Army guidelines. Sergeant Major La Santa overhauled a retention program that had failed to attain retention objectives in previous years. Subsequently, the command achieved and exceeded objectives in 5 consecutive years under his supervision. I am so honored and proud to present it to you, my dear friend.
Thank you.
Thank you. I hope for many.
This time, we're going to do presentations, awards, and reports. We have a presentation by Ben Eby, Vice President Administrator, and Cesar de las Casas, MPD, MPH, Cancer Center for Hope, Deltona, Halifax Health, UF Medical Center of Deltona. I read something in 2 different languages there. It caught me off guard. I apologize.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and City Commissioners. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and City Commissioners, for the opportunity to be here again. Always honored to come and present to the City Commission on the work that we're doing here in the City of Deltona and the new programs that were added. It's been since last December that we were here to give you our last update. So I believe we have a presentation we can pull up with a few slides. Just showing some of the new information and new services and new programs that we're adding. But as we've mentioned, as that's coming up, as we've mentioned before, we continue to expand and add services as our volumes are growing, and we'll continue to do that. The more our volume grows, the more that we will expand, and the more new services that we'll bring to the residents of West Volusia and the city of Deltona. And so since we opened, and my metrics are on my slide, and I didn't print a copy to bring with me, but we have over 120,000 residents that we've seen in our emergency department since we've opened. We've admitted, I'm going to get some of these numbers wrong, a lot of patients, and we've done almost 7,000 surgeries since we opened. And in our emergency department, we average about 20 minutes from the time you walk in the door, you're through security, through triage, in a bed, face-to-face with a physician in less than 20 minutes, which is great, and we continue to maintain as we grow. We're getting busy, and thank you. Which one is it here? This one, top one. There we go. Okay, thank you. So you can see, since we've opened, we're busy with these metrics on the screen, and the reason we're here is to provide access to healthcare, to provide a choice to healthcare in West Volusia, and we will continue to do that and grow and expand. So some of the updates that since the last time I was here to present, we've added a lot of new services, and one of them we're going to highlight tonight is our medical oncology clinic, and I'm so excited to have Dr. De Las Casas here. So I'm not going to talk long to give him an opportunity, but some other things we've added pulmonology function testing. We've changed the layout of our emergency department so that we can improve the flow. We've partnered with the city of Deltona for IV training for new EMTs with Deltona Fire. We are going to be this fall opening an observation unit in a temporary space in order to accommodate the growing volumes that we have until we have the opportunity to expand. Just last week, we applied to be a bariatric center of excellence. We've met all of the requirements for that, and we'll have a survey to qualify us for that certification within the next couple of months. We've also met all of the requirements to become a primary stroke center, and we'll be applying for that this fall, and early in the new year, we'll have our certification to do that, so that residents of Deltona no longer have to leave Deltona when they have a stroke. We'll be able to accommodate them. Also working toward a level 2 cardiology program so that we can accept full blockage heart attacks at our hospital, and working on meeting all of the requirements. I'm really hoping we can be there within the next year. There's a few areas that we're still not able to do because we don't have the specialists, and we're recruiting for interventional cardiology. By mid next year, we'll have a specialist for that. Pediatric primary care is a big need, and we're currently recruiting for that. And then neurosurgery and urology are two of the biggest areas that we're not able to care for currently. So within the next year or so, we'll have recruitment for that. The really exciting part is, as we're growing, we don't have enough capacity to care for the patients that we have. But fortunately, we built our hospital to accommodate that and to grow quickly. So we currently have 43 inpatient beds and 12 emergency department beds. We can double our capacity within our existing hospital. So within the next year, we'll be starting construction, early next year, I'm hoping, to expand our emergency department, to add a 6-bed observation unit in the emergency department, additional 12 exam rooms to have a total of 30 beds in our emergency department. And we'll be expanding our intensive care unit from 13 beds, an additional 17. We'll have a total of 30. And then currently on our 5th floor, we have 30 med-surg beds, and we have shell space on our 6th floor. So we'll be adding another 30 med-surg beds. So we'll be going from a hospital with 43 inpatient beds and 12 emergency department beds to a hospital with 30 emergency department beds and 90 inpatient beds within the next year or so. And then we have the ability to expand our surgical services with additional OR space and universal room too. And the great part about the way we built our hospital is that we can add another 3 stories on top of the existing tower, so that we can double in size again quite quickly as the need is there. So the faster we grow, the faster we'll expand, the faster we'll add new specialty services. The one I'm so excited about tonight is our oncology service. We opened our medical oncology clinic just last month, and Dr. De Las Casas has been waiting for that. We are so fortunate to have him here in our community, and the specialty that he provides and the care that he provides to our residents. He's been doing a fantastic job just since we opened about a month ago. So I'm going to give him the opportunity to share some of those services with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us. I'm Cesar de las Casas. I'm a medical oncologist and hematologist, and we're grateful for Halifax and for the community to welcome us. We're strong believers that cancer care should happen closer to home with excellence and compassion. And that's our job, and a team of 9 other oncologists that are in Daytona. We hope that most of our patients can stay here locally and get, again, care with the latest developments in oncology are exciting, and we want to be close to the community and to the family. And having a cancer diagnosis is challenging enough, and we want this care to happen locally, and compassion and excellence at all times.
Thank you for the opportunity. Happy to address any questions.
Commissioner McCool.
Thank you.
Ben, thank you, Doctor. You have an amazing facility there. It was quite an honor to tour with you, and you showed us what was going on. Thank you for adding the oncology unit to address the issues of patients so that they do not have to travel for care. It is cumbersome to do that, and you have provided solutions and will continue to. I'm very excited about what you're doing here in our city, so thank you for supporting oncology here in Deltona, which is seriously needed. We really appreciate it.
Vice Mayor Jody Lee, and then Commissioner Avila Vasquez.
Yes, sir. I just want to thank you for being here and doing everything you guys doing. You know, everybody here has had different issues, especially with cancer and different treatments, and there's commissioners that have issues. My father passed away of cancer. I just want to thank you for everything you're doing for the residents of Deltona, and I'm proud to help you and do anything we can to support you in your furthering stuff here in Deltona. Thank you.
Commissioner Avila Vasquez.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Ben and Señor de la Casa, for being here and always coming to City Hall and updating our residents on all the new treatments that you have right here around the corner from everybody's home. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Same here. I just want to welcome you to the community. We need more of these things to come in, and I'm hoping at some point very, very soon in the future, and Ben is already laughing because he knows where I'm going, we get to hear that we're getting some good pediatrics as well. So, Mr. De La Casas, this is very important, what you're doing, so keep doing what you're doing, and hopefully together we can at some point find some type of cure to this horrible disease. So thank you. Thank you both.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners.
Good evening. All right, before we go into public comment, Mr. Docker, do you want to address the? Yeah, please, yeah.
You could run it, Mayor, just from there. We, just overview real quick, is the county, we fall under Volusia County's state of emergency immediately, and they've already declared it, but each of the cities just kind of like to go through the process that we're recognizing that we're in the same boat, but it does pass down from the governor down to the counties and to the city itself. Thank you.
Okay. So I'm making a motion to get this approved, correct? Yeah, all right. Motion by Commissioner Harriet, second by Commissioner Avila Vasquez.
Got to read it?
And this is for an emergency declaration.
Would you like to read it into the record, Mayor? Just-
Yes, please.
Thank you. All right, City of Deltona, Florida, declaration of state of local emergency by the authority vested in Mayor and Council, pursuant to Chapter 252 of the Florida Statute and Chapter 1, Section 3B1 of the Emergency Management Plan for the City of Deltona, adopted by the Deltona City Commission on December 11th, 2023. I hereby declare a state of local emergency in the City of Deltona, Florida, for the following reasons. One, by Executive Order Number 24-215, signed October 5th, 2024, the Honorable Ron DeSantis declared a state of emergency from the state of Florida as a result of the National Hurricane Center advisory, predicting that the Hurricane Milton will continue moving east, northeast, and will be a threat to much of Florida in the coming days. And two, at present, Hurricane Milton has sustained wind speeds in excess of 100 miles per hour that threatens the city of Deltona with extreme weather conditions, including the possibility of up to 12 inches of rain, which pose immediate danger to the lives and property of persons in the city. And three, the city of Deltona is plagued by an abundance of trees susceptible to wind, throw, and by low-lying areas subject to chronic and severe flooding, and the failure to immediately take action may result in injury, loss of life, and property damage or loss. Ordered this 7th day of October, 2024, signed by the Mayor, City of Deltona.
Okay. Vice Mayor Jody Lee, did you want to speak? And then Commissioner McCool.
Just a quick one, Mayor. We did this a couple years ago, and I just want to make sure that this, I understand the state of emergency, and of course, in state of emergency, I believe the chief takes over with all of it. I also want transparency and accountability. We did this a couple years ago, and there was a whole bunch of stuff spent. I just want total transparency and accountability for what happens with the money of our city. during this storm. I don't want nobody trying to use this. Not that the chief did, because it wasn't the chief, it was other people. I want to make sure we have accountability for any money that goes out these doors. And this isn't used to say, well, we could do this because I have the authority. No. That's all I want to make sure.
Commissioner McCool and then Commissioner Harriet.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would also like for us to advise our residents that there just about every 4 hours is information dropping from the city regarding what aftermath care will be, during the storm care will be. I know that we have been addressing the infrastructure needs as far as stormwater, and then afterwards, I know that our city manager has already been working with staff regarding things such as food distribution, such as they're already working on debris removal, and we are also talked about charging stations for afterwards for those that do not have electricity, how we get out into our communities, into our districts, take care of our most vulnerable population, elderly and disabled, and I know that the city, as far as sandbags, has been taking care of that issue also. So I would encourage our residents to pay close attention to the City of Deltona website for information, and if you have something, share something, and that we suspend everything that goes on in our city other than storm right now so that we can concentrate on helping our neighbors. So please pay attention. I believe that everyone has their commissioner's phone number. Call when you can, but as much in the next few days, please stay off the roads so that emergency personnel can work. Thank you.
Commissioner Harriet and then City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. I've got two things that I'd like to ask along the same lines as the Vice Mayor. I think in order to improve and ensure transparency, I'd like to have a report at the next commission meeting of the items spent between now and then on the disaster. I think just a simple report. And then the local state of emergency has to be reissued every 7 days. And so if we continue to do that as it's continued to issued, I think that would go a long way to instill confidence in the community. The second thing that I'd like to bring up is I think it'd be prudent for the commission to also provide consensus for the city manager to find a disaster recovery consultant as soon as possible, ideally within the next couple of days. The services that they provide are a level of expertise on FEMA policy to help guide operations, that to make sure that operations are in compliance with FEMA policy for reimbursement. The use of these kinds of contracts or consultants more often than not more than pay for themselves in the amount of reimbursement that comes from them. So I think that'd be a very prudent thing for this commission to authorize the city manager to do until that time that it can go out to be properly procured.
City Manager and then Vice Mayor.
All right, just want to announce the school district, Volusia County Schools, did put out what the shelters are. We will announce this all over our social media and website. Galaxy Middle School here in Deltona is the only school, and that is for special needs shelter. The other local ones for general population shelters, the Land High School, University High School, and Volusia County Fairgrounds. This will be put out a little more, but this just came out within a couple hours ago from the school district.
Thank you. Is there any public comment, or sorry, Vice Mayor Jody Lee, and then if there's any public comment on this?
My only issue I'd like to add what Commissioner Harriet said. I agree with everything he said. Commissioner McCool, with the heartfelt for everybody out there to pay attention. But the other thing is, Commissioner Harriet, when you said about the recovery efforts and the consultant, there's two people sitting over at that table right there that have probably more experience. Mr. Glenn Whitcomb's already handled storms and hurricanes here. He's got a very capable man sitting next to him. I think we should talk about that in the future, but I think right now them two are very capable to advise the city manager. They've been through this before. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I don't disagree with staff's knowledge and experience in past storms, but FEMA policy changes on a very, very, very consistent basis. That's about the only thing consistent with that agency. So having somebody to advise that is entrenched in that and knows the most recent updates to the policy, I think would be more than beneficial.
Okay. Could we go for a vote, please?
Anybody second it?
Yeah, there was a motion by Commissioner Harriet and second by Commissioner Avila Vasquez. Motion passes 7-0. This time, we're going to go ahead and enter into public forum on items not on the agenda.
Michael Wright, please.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I know a couple of you that I've seen on a regular basis. It's good to see you this evening, and I come because I need your help on something. On October 1st this year, at approximately 8 a.m., I was taking my daily 30-minute walk. And when I was on Bell Tower Avenue, I passed by 142 Lowwater Street, and at apartment A, there was a woman who resides at this address, and she was in the yard standing near the entry door to her apartment with her daughter and her unleashed dog. I warned her that the law requires a dog to be on a leash. And as a matter of fact, I saw her husband not too long ago, and I told him, too, that a dog that is not fenced in has to be on a leash. And I also warned her, I also said that now if that dog comes at me, I'm going to deem it to be a threat to me and a danger. And sure enough, the dog came at me, and I struck it with this cane on the side of its head. The dog whimpered and fled. Now, she and I both called 911, and a deputy came and visited her personally, but did not visit me. And as a result of that, some of the information, I got the police report after, actually I talked to Sheriff Chitwood at the Deltona Center. I also talked to, I forget if he's a captain or if he's a Sergeant Eisen. And they noted that the deputy gave me a telephone call, but a telephone call was not adequate because now that I've seen the police report, there's some information in there that is just not true. The woman falsely claimed that I struck her. Now, the fact is, as I said earlier, she was standing near the entry door of her apartment with her daughter, and the dog came at me. There was no way I could have struck her. But the police, or the deputy, and I'm quoting here, said, "Male explained he never meant to hit the woman, only the dog." That is not what I said. What I said, and if he would have come to see me, I would have made sure he corrected it. What I said is, I didn't recall hitting the woman, and if that happened, it was not my intention to hit her, and I never explicitly said that I hit the woman at all. In fact, again, reflecting on the incident, she was up by the door of her house with her daughter. There was no way I could have struck this woman. And then she also claimed, falsely, she alleged that she was walking the dog. She was not walking the dog. The dog was freely wandering in the yard. Now, I have no animosity towards this woman. I called animal control. They told me that they needed 2 affidavits in order for them to act. Well, I have one here that I'm going to turn in tonight, and I don't know how I'm going to get another affidavit. I talked to some other people, and they just don't want to get involved.
Thank you.
I want you to ensure that the animal control
Thank you, sir. You can just leave your
I want them warned.
Terry Ellis, please.
Good evening, everyone. So, Terry Ellis. So, I just wanted to bring up that this is Domestic Violence Month, and on October 22nd, that's a Tuesday, from 5 to 8, we're having the second annual Domestic Violence Community Awareness Seminar for West Volusia. There's going to be a lot of information that's presented in this meeting, so I just wanted to bring up that if there's family, friends, people out there who need this information, even if you were at the meeting last year, you want to be at the meeting this year, because last year we had a discussion about what needed to happen, and this year we're going to have a discussion about the things that have happened. So I believe that I sent an email to the commission. I will send out another email. That was probably about a month ago, so I'll send out another one to remind you. But if anyone wants to contact me, I'm pretty easy to find. My email is tljoh@aol.com, so you can contact me directly about the Domestic Violence Community Awareness Night. And I hope that I'll see you folks, because as you know, in our community, we don't have a lot of social service support. That's changing, thankfully. But, a lot of times you folks get the phone calls about what do I do, where do I go, who do I call? So this information is also going to be very valuable to you, so that you are able to talk to the agencies that can help, and you can get this information firsthand. So I hope that I see some of you folks at this meeting as well. Second thing that I wanted to bring up is I've talked to some of you, and a few people know, but during, I think it was Hurricane Ian, I was part of a number of residents out in the community trying to figure out, okay, we had the storm, now what? And I was very disheartened to learn that Deltona really lacks a community a plan for what happens after the storm. So I know Commissioner McCool, you talked a little bit about charging stations and food stations, and I'm very happy to hear that. So, but the storm is right around the corner, and I haven't seen any of that community recovery information, not from a emergency management standpoint, from okay, the storm has happened, I don't have electricity, it's 2 days later, now what do I do? Things like that. So hopefully that information about where the community, where they go and how to get items and charge phones and whatnot is very well circulated within the city within the next 2 days before this storm, because if folks don't have electricity, and hopefully cell phone towers don't go down, but it's going to be really hard to communicate with folks after the fact. So hopefully that information is communicated out, and I hope that at some point in the future that the city can have a formal community recovery plan, so that folks do have clear information about what to do and where to go. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Richard Bellick, please.
That gentleman that talked about the dog bite, he brought me back in time. That's how I got started here. I got bit by a 100-pound German Shepherd, got my buttocks ripped apart, and I came up here and looked for help, and Baker was here, Masarchak, Fowler, they all worked against me, but the courts gave me a tremendous settlement. So don't keep the dogs on a leash. I could use the money again. Now, I'd like to come up here and say something good for a change, but I can't think of nothing. I think of the center. I think of the boat dock. I think of the parks. I mean, come on. This is one continuous drain on the taxpayers' money. This is going on for years. Some of you commissioners have been there 4, 5, 6 years. Nothing's changed. Now I hear tonight we're going to talk about food trucks. I welcome it. I like that. Next week will be chickens again. But really, I'd like to say something good, but you can't. There's nothing good to say. Come on. I'm not jerking anybody's chain. You just do nothing. Everything gets pushed off. You talk a lot. Bob, bob, bob. Nothing happens for the people. You know it just as well as I do. It's like a con game when you come in here. Nothing happens. The center. Millions of dollars out the window. the boatyard, millions of dollars out the window, the parks. Forget it. That's, to me, I don't want to see nobody lose their job, but that's, I mean, this is crazy, year after year after year. I mean, the morale in this city, I mean, you talk to people, I'm in Publix, and strike me dead if I'm lying, God. A Negro woman came up to me, and she said, you're the guy. You're that Richard from City Hall. And I said, yeah, ma'am, yeah, that's me. She said, I'm glad you give them hell. She said, I'd never go up there. But really, there's nothing good to say. What do you want, make something up? How can you make something up? Like I said, you got people up there 4, 5, 6 years. Nothing changes. It's on and on, one continuous act. It's like the honeymooners. People are supposed to come here and bow down to yous, and yous do nothing for them. Oh, you do raise their taxes. That you do. They do raise your taxes. Give them, give them something. What's ever going to be done? How much money, how many times, how many millions is the center going to lose? It can't pay for itself. Make it a shoe store or something, a dance studio, anything. Anything's better than what it is. The boatyard, oh, this one's going to do this, and this one's going to do that, and you hear this story after story, but nothing ever gets done. You never see any time the city gets screwed out of their money. You never see any court case where they try to fight to get it back. They let it go. It's the taxpayers. Don't worry about it. We'll just raise the taxes again next year. And like I said, I would like to come up here and say something good. Really, you might think that I'm a bad guy, but inside I'm a warm-hearted guy. I'm the first guy to take a $5 bill out and give it to a kid for an ice cream if he's crying. Really, do something for the people. How do you just look in the mirror at yourselves? Tell me. You just can't answer nothing. You just got no answers for nothing. And now we're going back to food trucks. Who brought that up? I'm going to turn my neighbor in. He's got a chicken. Food trucks.
Courtney Cross-Burgos, please.
Well, I guess this is an appropriate time for me. I wrote something, and I couldn't read my own writing, so now I put it on my phone, so excuse me. Good evening, all. I usually come up here and wag my fingers at all of you and call out the things I think are wrong. And Davison has told me sometimes I'm a little negative. So tonight, I'm going to share some positive stuff. Thank you all for the efforts that you're making to keep us safe during this storm. I'll go down the line. Davison, you always take time to answer my questions and help me understand, even at 3 in the morning. I made his wife a bracelet. He forgot it in the truck. A few days later, she found it. He had some splaining to do. Who's next? Troy, thank you for always answering my emails, even though we have not agreed once, but I will definitely miss you up there, and I hope you have success in your future. And who'd have thought I'd have something good to say about Jody Lee? Go figure. I know, I don't know what we're getting here, but he and I are solving world problems at 5 in the morning, and he explains his thoughts on things so that I can better understand. To show what a good sport he is, he's attending an event at the DeBarry VFW on the 12th, and we finally get to see him behind bars. We will be putting him in jail, and he will have to raise bail money, and all the money that gets raised is going to the veterans. If anybody would like the number to get tickets, I have the number. Mr. Mayor, thank you for calling me in your precious free time and always keeping it real, even on the hard questions. Dios te bendiga. Dana takes the time to call, text, Facebook message. While we don't always agree, you are always open to discussion. Now, Commissioner Caldwell. Thank you for responding to my email and having me call you. I promised I wouldn't try to have an I gotcha moment, but I'm going to kind of have to break my promise and say, I got you to finally talk to me. I've spoken to some of your residents, and they're all very happy. They say you're doing a great job. And thank you to Joyce, Sandy, Bridget, and all the rest. I don't know all your names, but I know you put up with a lot from us. And Phyllis isn't here, but thank you, Phyllis, for always bringing me water and mints when I start coughing over there, and she always responds to my emails, and she's very informative. Glenn, you're another one who always responds to my emails, even if you tell me to stay in my lane. And, yep, there we go. You are appreciated, Glenn. And Glenn, Phyllis, and the mayor dumped me on poor Jim Parrish right in his lap, and he was awesome. He met with me, he called, he texted. I think he and I killed half a forest printing out all that we needed to research my issue. Doc, can we get some of that tree fund money to place those trees we used? Now, I get to Doc, and I have a negative. Well, some people may think it's a positive. Maritza probably thinks it's positive. Doc tried to get me eaten by Ace, the canine officer. He told me to go rub his ears together really hard and that he would enjoy it. Luckily, I'm not as dumb as I look, and I didn't follow his suggestions. I'm attending Deltona University, and Doc is showing another side of himself. He hasn't turned red even once. He is telling jokes, lots of dad jokes. I do have a small gotcha on him during the question time. I said something about me being old, and he responded with, yes, you are, but that wasn't appreciated. It's awesome to get to see his personality. He showed us pictures of his kids and his mom, but he did let a secret out, which I'm going to share. Uh-oh, I'm running out. I'm going to share real quick. He doesn't do social media, but his mom does. And so if he's not paying attention, she knows our names better than he does. Just make a thing on Facebook to the Iron Maiden, and she will get him and get him straight again. And thanks to our residents like Tara, Randy, Mary Ellis, Albert, Kathy, David Sosa, and a shout out to the Sheriff's Department.
Yeah.
On the way over. Sorry.
Brandy White, please.
Thank you.
It's getting further and further up here. Brandy White, District 1. Just a few things, and some of it may have been mentioned earlier when you were doing the FEMA update and the storm update, so just correct me if it's been updated. Is there sandbags for tomorrow? That's one of the questions that's going online. Also, trash pickup, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm assuming maybe not Wednesday, Thursday, but if we could just get clarified for sure which days our trash is getting picked up, that'd be great. Next, kind of goes hand in hand with the trash pickup. There has been a lot of posts on social media regarding things not getting picked up. Where the truck's there, they'll pick up a couple things, leave the rest, even if it is nicely bundled and tied up. There's been several pictures posted that are within guidelines and it's not being picked up. People have mentioned that they've called and they're being told that they're just backed up. That doesn't help our situation any. They are contracted to provide these pickups, and the residents would like to see that enforced. Going hand in hand with that again, there has been an instance that I think is going to need to be discussed, whether openly at a workshop or with staff, regarding waste profiling complaints against residents. That is not acceptable. That is something that needs to be looked at. That is something that needs to be determined if there's any processes or procedures in place. But there are some concerns raised about at least one specific instance on that. And lastly, I just want to point out that at the last meeting, the quick little dumpster fire at the end where everything then just got shut down and we're going to pretend it didn't happen and not talk about it. We are going to talk about it. We do need to discuss the last budget meeting and the sudden removal, so to speak, of things that didn't actually get removed, but was portrayed to the residents that we removed $1 million worth of things. We need to go ahead and dive a little deeper into that and bring that back up for discussion. And that's it. Thank you.
Marciana Mead.
Hi, Marciana Mead, Sweecum Woods Court in Deltona. See, it's not all bad. not everything is bad. There are good things to say, and I have good things to say tonight, too. I'm the director of Deltona Community Gardens, and I'm here to thank the city and everyone involved with the city for partnering with the gardens. In that vein, I would like to, in case you didn't see your emails, let you all know that we are having our annual fundraiser on October 19th. Anyone that is available to come out and support us, see the wonderful things we're doing at the garden, it would be greatly appreciated. I don't know if Doc has had the opportunity to visit the garden, but I did send you an invitation to come anytime. I'll make myself available so you can come out and listen to the good things we're doing at the garden and how the garden attempts to give back to the community, to be thankful for the partnership that the city has given us with the garden. And it's positive, good things going on out there, and we hope that you would support us with the partnership in communicating in any way that you can to get the word out about, number one, that the garden is there, and number two, that we're having our annual event. It's our one-time-a-year fundraiser. If you can put it on your calendar, if there's any way that you can get the word out in media that you have, it would be greatly appreciated. So good things, and thank you so much.
Kathy Bryan, please.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. I'm glad I got to follow Marcy because I have a a flyer. I have and I didn't know if this was something that we could post up in City Hall somewhere where the public can see it. I did put a few postcard things out on the table out there. This is a great thing. I know we've got the storm coming up, and that a lot of people, are probably going to be recovering from that. But this is might be a great opportunity to take the kids out, get them out of the house, we will have plants for sale. We've been working really hard. And understand, and this isn't, I think a lot of you guys do, but for the general public, there's a very small group of people who work really hard to maintain those gardens and provide a wealth of knowledge on planting, pollinators, et cetera, and things we can do to kind of keep ourselves self-sufficient. There'll be a photo booth. We're going to have face painting, kids' activities, et cetera. Get the kids out of the house, bring them on down. It should be a great time, so I'm hoping the storm does not ruin that for us. Second thing I wanted to ask about was, and I left my paper back there, the hurricane. I noticed, Mayor, you put something out with Mr. Santiago and Mr. Barnaby, et cetera. When you guys put emergency management information out, how do you work on ADA compliance? How are you talking to people who are deaf? Because, and the picture in my head is anytime we have something and the governor's talking at the state, you've got somebody in the background doing ASL, closed caption, et cetera. Are we providing that for our citizens? And we got a lot of people out there that are hard of hearing, so the closed caption is really important. So I think if we're not doing that, it's something we need to start, and getting this information out a little more available for every citizen that we have. Lastly, or not lastly, speaking of the hurricane, everybody stay safe, but there is no reason, and for whoever's listening, for people to make these runs on the grocery store, grab things out of people's hands. For crying out loud, if you've got jugs laying around your house, if you've got water bottles that you drink out of, fill them up, put them in your freezer. If the electric goes out, you've got water. If you run out of toilet paper, or you're getting close to running out of toilet paper, use a paper towel for pee-pee, throw it in the garbage, and use the toilet paper for poo-poo. It can be done. there's ways to do everything. The last thing I have is that the city government is nonpartisan. And I keep hearing rumors of, who's Republican, who's Democrat. I don't give a crap. I really don't give a crap. There's a lot of people out there that think it's important to know that. My question is, what are you going to do for this city? What are you going to do for me? What are you going to do for its citizens? The two parties are ruining this country, and it's filtering all the way down. And I'm tired of hearing it and tired of seeing it. It's this side versus that side, and there's so many people here when most citizens are here, right in the center. So that's all I have to say. Stay safe. Thank you.
David Sosa, please.
All right, David Sosa, good evening. First, I want to talk about transparency, or the lack thereof. Okay, these last 2 years have been worse when it comes to transparency than it was when Jane Shang was here. Okay, you, the commission, have really blocked out the residents. Okay, first, last year you pulled public comments from the agenda. You put them at a time. A lot of people can't attend. What's worse, you don't videotape them and you don't take minutes off them. When I did a public records request, the only thing stated was the person's name. That was it. Now, you do a pre-meeting at 5:30, once again, a time most people can't make it here. Okay? And once again, there's no video or transcripts of the meeting. So the residents are what? Left in the dark again. So Avila, I messaged you weeks ago regarding this. You said you were going to get me an answer. I'm still waiting. Okay? Now, this commission violates people's First Amendment right on a regular basis, whether it comes to chilling their speech or when you violate their ability to redress their grievances with the government. Yeah, Dana, roll your eyes, but it's true. Avila, these days right now are worse than Jane Shang. You're supposed to be a constitutional conservative. Okay? Next, trust. Many of you up there say, trust us. Okay? Davison, you and I talked a couple weeks before the last budget meeting regarding the scholarship, and I had addressed to you that several residents reached out to me regarding their views on the scholarship. Now, you told me they should call you or email you directly. My response was, most of the residents fear you guys, which is awful, that people are afraid of you, and don't want to reach out to you. So they come to me to redress their grievances with you. Okay, now you guys at the last meeting had the opportunity to give the residents a reason to trust you, but you blew it. After the budget failed to pass, you took what was supposed to be a 10-minute recess, and instead you held a secret meeting in the back room. And you wheeler-dealed to come back with a budget that could pass. Okay? No wonder why the city manager wants to spend a bunch of money back there. It looks like that's where most of the time is going to be spent making the hard decisions, where you keep the public in the closet. Okay? Now, here's a public records request I made for that night. I would like the video transcripts of all communications between the city manager, commissioners during the recess following the initial vote on the budget that failed at the 9/16/2024 meeting. To my surprise, not really, there's no records to provide. So you guys wheeler-dealed in the back room, and then you come back and pass a budget. Okay? Now, the city manager, you tell a lot of half-truths. Okay?
Mayor, no, we're not having personal attacks. This is not a time to
personal
personally attack people.
You tell a lot of half-truths. For example,
we
the
did not
whole
have any
budget
illegal
process,
meetings.
you made it sound like
This is
taxes were going
inappropriate what
down.
he's saying right now.
All right, you're going to have to add to my time if he's interrupting me.
We're not going to sit here and have anyone
You
defamed or
said-
slandered, including myself or the employees, other residents or the commission.
Mr. Sosa, we need order, please. You had the fancy charts up on the screen, and you conveniently left out the fact that
that taxable values significantly increased disproportionately to the millage rate reductions. That was very disingenuous. You told half the story, okay?
Thank you, Mr. Sosa. Thank you.
A couple of properties.
Mr. Sosa, thank you. Thank you.
Well, I need some time. You interrupted.
Mr. Sosa, time's up. Thank you.
All right. Once again, lack of transparency.
That ends public comment.
All right, at this time, we're going to go ahead and enter into ordinances and public hearings. Public hearing ordinance number 07-2024, amending section 22-186 to 22-191 of Article VI, Street Vendors of Chapter 22 Businesses of the Land Development Code at first reading.
Can I kill this and just make a motion?
Thank you.
Just call on me, boss. You call on me, I'm just gonna make a motion, we'll kill it.
Good evening. Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners, Mr. City Manager. Tonight we're here to talk about the first reading of ordinance number 7-2024, street vendors, updates to sections 22-186 to 22-191. City Commission requested staff to update the street vendor sections in the Land Development Code, and staff has updated sections 22-186 to 22-191, which includes mobile food dispensing vehicles and mobile vendors. The changes in the code include Florida statute updates, an annual application fee of $100, limit no more than 2 mobile food vehicles on a site, no overnight parking, extended the hours of operation for weekends, not permitted on property with code violations, remove tables, seating, and canopies, permit the use of existing outdoor dining or other permanent seating authorized for existing business. Alcohol shall not be sold or dispensed by mobile food dispensing vehicles, and activities should not impede on parking designated for properties principal use per the Land Development Code. And staff would, for second reading, would like to include a buffer for brick and mortar restaurants.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Jody Lee.
I want to make a motion to approve ordinance number 07-2024, amending section 22-186 to 22-191 of Article 4 of Street Vendors of Chapter 22 Businesses, Land Development Code at first reading.
Second by, motion by Vice Mayor Jody Lee, second by Commissioner Stroza, or Colwell. So sorry. Is there any public comment?
Yes.
Brandy White, please.
Brandy White, District 1, unfortunately passing this tonight is not going to be able to be done because there's some serious issues with this. First of all, we're kind of colluding the word street vendor in here, okay? And I'm going to give you some very clear examples on why this is going to actually cause you more problems than you already have. Let's just start in the beginning. Street vendor, by definition, is someone who sells food or goods in the street, sidewalks, or other outdoor areas, right? They sell something. However, further down in this section, you say, under mobile vendor, that it is a self-propelled or otherwise movable something, because you didn't write what. But then it says from place to place providing services to customers. It doesn't say providing food or goods. So you're grouping in another set of mobile, not vendors, but mobile businesses now under the guise of vendor. For example, my business, right? I'm a service. I'm not a vendor. I don't sell things. But by your definition in here, which does not meet the definition by law or the definition in general, which vendor by law, which this is a legal contract, by law, that's something it literally says offering something for sale. Under law, it says vendor means seller. Okay, but under mobile vendor, you're including all services. You can't do that. They don't fall under the same guidelines. What you're going to do is cause a whole lot of issues, and I'm going to further explain why. If you go further down, it says here under mobile food dispensing vehicles, which you're separating from a vendor, which is good. It says that it does not include roving vehicles like an ice cream truck that periodically travel through residential neighborhoods selling prepared, it's still selling, makeshift items and whatnot. Or a mobile vending selling anything other than food or food stuff, right? So you're talking about, again, goods and items like that. You're selling things. The definition of a vendor, to sell. Okay, but when under mobile vendor, you write services instead of selling, you're including a whole other category. If you go further under street vendor, again, you defined it outside of the definition of the law. You added to it. And you added a bunch of things that, again, are going to collude what a vendor actually is defined as. Also, in this, I see, if you go a little bit further down under section 22-187 under prohibited acts, based on the way you write this, you include the word, again, services from public property, public right-of-way, unoccupied private property. I'm sorry, but the services that I provide can be done on an unoccupied private property. That's where a lot of people hold their, birthday parties if they have land and whatnot. They don't have to have a home on the land for them to use their land. Moving on, if you go to under section 22-191, you talk about an Appendix A fee schedule. It's not on here anywhere. Like, I can't see exactly what that fee schedule being proposed in this contract is, but yet you want to approve it tonight. Do any of you know what the cost is? Have you seen the appendix? Because the public has not. We haven't seen that new fee schedule. But it's being referenced in here, which means you'd be approving it. Moving on, again, it talks about a bunch of things that would be necessary to provide that would not apply to a business such as myself. Aerial photographs, all these things. Food trucks and vendors, yes. Not services. You need to fix that. Thank you.
Thank you. That ends public comment.
Vice Mayor Jody Lee.
I just wanted to ask the Planning Zone Director and Ms. Marcia, can you validate any of the concerns that were just brought before we go with this vote?
We can also fix it at second hearing, correct?
Okay.
Mayor, I said yes.
Point of order, sir. Point of order. Point of order, Mr. Bellick. Mr. Bellick, you're out of order.
Yes, so are you.
Go ahead. Can we please go for a vote? There was a motion and a second.
I have a comment, Mayor.
Go ahead,
if I may.
Commissioner
So there is a motion on the floor. Should the motion include what you just mentioned, that it would be fixed on the second reading? Or amended or whatever according to the legal advice?
Staff will get with the city attorney and Ms. White to see what our concerns are and to fix any misconceptions or clarifications. So we'll bring that back to we will address it, yes.
Thank you.
Ordinance passes 7-0. This time we're going to go to B, public hearing ordinance number 09-2024, amending the official zoning map to rezone 10.10 acres of land located at 3141 Holland Boulevard from general commercial C2 and business plan unit development BPUD to BPUD at second and final reading. And I believe, Marcia, you have to.
Jessica, do you want me to go first?
You can go first.
Okay, thank you so much. Is there anyone who received a notice on this matter that has a vested right? And if they do, would they please stand and raise their right hand so I can swear them in? Otherwise, are there any consultants that will be offering any testimony with regards to this case? And if so, would they please stand so I can swear them in? I guess it's just you, Jessica. Do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. And then, Mayor, if you will poll your commission on ex parte communications, thank you.
Sure. Commissioner Harriet, have you had any ex parte with?
No.
Commissioner Shimkus?
No.
Vice Mayor Jody Lee?
Nothing besides city officials talking with city people about it.
Commissioner Avila Vasquez?
None?
Commissioner McCool? Nope. Commissioner Colwell?
None.
I have driven by the property, and I have asked some questions to the county as well, so that's about it. Vice Mayor?
I would just, we've discussed this at length. This is the piece of property that they're going to put a storage unit in the back, but they're going to put businesses in the front. We've spoken at length with the Planning and Development Department. I'd like to make a motion to pass ordinance number 0920294, amending the official zoning map to rezone 10.10 acres of land located at 3141 Holland Boulevard from general commercial C2 and business plan unit development be put to be put second and final reading.
Second.
So there's a motion by Vice Mayor Jody Lee and a second by Commissioner Harriet. Would you?
Yes.
Please.
Were you going to ask if there was public comment?
Yes, that's what I was going to go. Do we have anybody withstanding that has public comment?
No.
Nobody withstanding? Does the developer want to speak?
No?
No. Okay. Is there any public comment? No? All right. Go ahead, Marcia.
Okay, let me get through. I can't find it. Okay, got it. Ordinance number 09-2024, an ordinance of the City of Deltona, Florida, amending the official zoning map to rezone plus or minus 10.10 acres of land located at 3141 Howland Boulevard from general commercial C2 and business plan unit development BPUD to BPUD, providing for conflict severability and providing for an effective date.
All right, can we please go into a verbal vote, or you want to do this one? Okay, that's fine. Motion passes 7-0. All right, we're going to go into public hearing resolution number 2024-54, declaring zoning in progress regarding amendments to the Land Development Code Section 110-319B, PUD, Plan Unit Development to establish criteria to achieve exceptional quality community designs.
Good evening, Commissioner, City Manager. Staff is requesting the Commission declare zoning in progress for planned unit developments. It's become apparent, speaking to each one of you individually, that a lot of our PUDs just get the bare minimum. This zoning in progress will add some regulations which will provide quality development in the future for our PUDs, starting with our residential PUDs, going to our business PUDs, mixed-use PUDs, and industrial PUDs. Thank you, Mayor.
Make a motion.
Thank you, Commissioner McCool.
Yes, I would like to thank the staff and city manager staff for working so hard on this, for improving, for making excellence here. And we're not the same old anymore. So thank you for that leadership and raising the standards of what we expect from building and development here in Deltona. This is a major step in the right direction. I think I've expressed that. I think I try to express a huge gratitude to you for you all taking this so seriously and improving development quality. So thank you.
Commissioner Harriet?
I'd like to echo what Commissioner McCool said. I think this is a phenomenal solution to our problem without just making brash decisions. With that being said, I'd like to make a motion to approve this item.
So a motion by Commissioner Harriet and a second by Commissioner Colwell. Is there any public comment?
Kathy Bryan, please.
I'm going to be repetitive because I think you need to hear it again and again. When you do this, you're going to have to stick to it. You can't do this and then just go, oh, well, yeah, no, this one's okay. And I will say it again. The buyer buys a piece of property, zoned, agricultural, rural. That's what it is. That's what you bought. That's what you paid for. That doesn't mean you have the right to come down, no matter how much money you have, no matter how much power you think you have, and decide that you want to put 600 houses in a very small space right next to rural and agricultural. Period, full stop. So if we don't stop doing those things, so you can use it for toilet paper for pee-pee.
That ends public comment.
Okay. Motion passes 7-0. Going to go to D, public hearing ordinance number 15, 2024, amending Chapter 3031 elections and adding Section 3038, 30 through 38, filing officer at first reading.
Mayor.
Vice Mayor Jody.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to accept the ordinance number 15-2024, amending Chapter 30-31 elections and adding Section 30-38, filing officer at the first reading.
Second.
Motion by Vice Mayor Jody Lee, second by Commissioner McCool. Commissioner Villa-Vasquez?
Yes, you have to add in your motion about in the absence of the...
Correct the motion.
I agree.
Thank you.
Correct the motion. In that, I would add that the city clerk or designee.
All right, do we have any public comment? No? Okay.
Sorry, thank you.
Just making sure the second agrees with.
Did the second agree with? Okay, great. Okay. Yes, Mr. Mayor, ordinance number 15-2024, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Deltona, Volusia County, Florida, amending Chapter 30-31 elections, amending Article 1 in general, Section 30-1 early voting, amending Article 2 candidates, Section 30-31 qualifying period, and Section 30-34 filing of other items, and adding Section 30-38 filing officer, providing for conflicts, providing for incorporation of recital, codification, severability, and an effective date.
Thank you. Motion passes 7-0. There's nothing for old business. We're going to go to new business. Section A, request for approval to appoint Fire Chief Snyder as the designated government official and Deputy Fire Chief Swisher as the designated alternate government official for the City of Deltona to the Opioid Settlement Government Committee.
I'd like to make a motion.
Motion by Commissioner Avila-Vasquez.
Second.
Second by Commissioner McCool. Is there any public comment?
David Sosa, please.
Yeah. Dave Sosa. Avila, who runs this meeting? You or him? And I'll tell you right now,
Mayor, stick to the topic.
I respect Chief Snyder, and I respect that decision. Now, if you have staff charter officers that are going to have their feelings hurt because they say half truths.
This is not the time to talk about another topic, Mayor.
Okay.
Let's please stay on track.
We need to.
Former Commissioner Sosa,
Unfortunately, when he interrupts me and you cut my
Mr. Sosa,
time
this is
off.
not the topic we're on.
Why? I understand that. Well, you cut my time when he interrupted me.
I understand that, but this is, if you want to talk on the subject, you're a former commissioner. You should know this already, Commissioner Sosa.
Trust me, I know, and I would never stand by and let my residents
Mr. Sosa,
have their speech
if you want to make a comment on what's on the agenda, I'll be more than happy to listen to you.
Chief Snyder, all due respect, I like him, and I think he'd do a good job at this. Okay? And don't worry, I guess next meeting, I'll bring up the rest of them.
That ends public comment.
Professional.
Motion passes 7-0. Motion passes 7-0. We're going to go to section B. Request for approval to expend no more than $60,000 per household in the Florida Housing Financial Corporation State Housing Initiatives Partnerships SHIP funds for the owner-occupied repair projects listed below.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to approve this item.
There you go.
There's a motion by Commissioner Shimkus and a second by Commissioner Colwell. Is there any public comment? No? Okay. Vice Mayor Jody Lee, you're on the board.
I'll withdraw my request. I was just going to make a motion.
Okay. Can we please vote? Motion passes 7-0. We're going to go to section C, renewal request for Accentria United Healthcare employee benefits and service contracts.
Make a motion. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion.
Vice Mayor Jody Lee would like to make a motion.
We worked through this in the agenda review. This is something that we're going to save money on. It's going to benefit. We're not losing any benefits. This is just something we're adding and changing for our employees, which is going to benefit the city employees. So I'd like to make a motion to renew the request for Accenture's United Healthcare employees benefits and service contract.
Second.
It's a motion by Vice Mayor Jody Lee and second by Commissioner McCool. Is there any public comment? All right. Motion passes 7-0. This time we're going to move to comments on consent items.
Jim Pesha, please.
Microphone, Mr. Jim.
Mr. Pesha, your microphone. Push it closer to yourself. Yeah.
Okay, Jim Pesha, Deltona. I want to come up here and talk about what I was surprised to see, an extension of our... Sorry about that. I was surprised to see that we have an extension of the contract for our lawyer, the city's attorney. I thought she had submitted her resignation. I thought several times members of this commission have brought up the fact that they wanted to terminate her contract. There's been multiple comments made about the quality of the service that she has provided. We've had 3 months since she submitted her resignation. I understand we've been out looking for replacements. Why haven't we found one? Why haven't we found a temporary? Why are we still working with the one that has been giving us problems and that you guys have stated you weren't happy with? I know I'm not happy with it, and right now I'm not happy with you guys for putting us in this position. Right now, I would like to see anything other than the problems we've had before. Thank you.
Brandy White, please.
Brandy White, District 1. That is also the agenda item that I wanted to kind of touch base on. He probably put it a lot more elegantly than I was going to do, so I'll probably leave his comments stand. I do have to agree with the fact that you guys were tasked with ensuring that the money we spent for a search firm was well spent. Right? They came here, they promised that they could meet the deadline. I went back and watched all the videos. They said they would have no problem meeting the deadline. Then we didn't hear any movement for a good month. Then near the end, we started seeing a little bit of movement. Oh, we've got one person that put in, one firm, another person, right? But no movement past that. And then the deadline occurs. And instead of saying, but we found somebody to fill in the meantime, it was like, let's just keep rolling what we already said is a bad pair of dice. Doesn't make any sense to me. I understand that we're once again just in a predicament where we're going to be forced to have to do this. But I think that looks really bad on all of you guys. And I think that you should put that accountability where it belongs as well. And that's on the search firm. I know there was some misunderstandings because it was brought to my attention that at the last meeting when I mentioned we had a great HR department now who brought in their own recruiters, who we increased the budget for that department so that we could have a solid department. I was giving her props. I wasn't dogging on what she claimed that she could do. I was saying we have excellence here, let her shine. We don't need to spend an additional amount of money for something that she's claimed in her resume she's great at, and brought in recruiters. And if I'm not mistaken, she mentioned we went from like 80 openings to 12. So she clearly is doing good at her job, in my opinion. I don't understand why we want to continue to waste the money. They should be held accountable for not meeting the deadline. You should just squash it. The contract's done. They didn't meet deadline. They failed to meet their contract. They were breaching contract, no money. What I really didn't like, and I went back to make sure I heard it correctly at that meeting, is when they said, well, I guess we'll go back and give it 100%. You should have been giving it 150% from the get-go because you knew there was a deadline. There shouldn't have been any statement of we can try harder. You should have been said we've been trying our hardest. But that's not what they came up here and said. In fact, they said we will try harder. And for me, that's a concern. I know regardless, you guys are in a predicament and this is going to pass tonight. There's nothing that anybody out here or anybody up there is going to be able to say otherwise. I mean, we just are where we are. Thank you.
Courtney Cross Burgos, please.
I have to, excuse me, I have to. I hate it when I moved it, sorry. When I went back and I saw the agenda, I went back to the workshop on September 9th, I think, where they came up and talked about the attorney, and that firm is not doing what they said. And it was posed to Doc that evening, and Doc said that he had a contingency plan, that there were other people that could work for us and do what we needed, and not for us not to worry about it. And I was a little shocked to see it come back up that we were going to be paying her what we're going to pay her after she's already given her resignation. And one of the things was supposedly she needs to fill in the new person. Well, we have a paralegal, and I'm sure the paralegal is aware of whatever ongoing cases that we have, and somebody could fill in, she could fill in whoever we get in the meantime. So I don't know. Just seems like we're going backwards, not forwards. So I don't understand in all this time why we couldn't find anybody. And like I said, Doc, if you listen to the meeting, Doc did say that we would he had other people lined up, and that he was solid on us not having a problem. So it looks like now we have a problem.
Richard Bellick, please.
Caldwell, you made the motion to keep it, didn't you? Who told you to do that, Jody?
Time out.
What?
Go ahead,
you said the first thing you were going to do when you were elected, Jody, was fire her, and she wouldn't make over $300,000 a year. That never happened, did it? She always made over $300,000 a year, didn't it? Never once did she make under $300,000. You're the one that said it. He's the one that made the motion to keep her. Now we're back to exactly what I'm talking about. Roll it over, make excuses. I don't think you'll ever get rid of her. That's my opinion. But don't sit there like you're Mr. High IQ. You said you'd fire her. She'd never make under $300,000 a year. Am I lying? I'm telling the truth. I don't have to lie. Hey, wave your head. Wave your head all you want. I don't have to lie. He said it, and you probably told him to say it. Now, this is exactly what I'm saying. Everything gets pushed apart, pushed down the line. You've been getting rid of her for years. She's still here. Come on, what is this, a comedy show? Is it really that bad? I got the unfit mother waving her head.
Mr. Bellick, point of order.
Right there, Mr. Mayor, I'm telling you, get a spine.
Like I've been saying.
Mr. Bellick, please stop with the personal attacks.
Like I've been saying, it's going down the line, down.
Commissioner McCool.
After the first time.
You're the one that signed the papers in court. You were an unfit mother. Don't get mad at me.
Calling for a vote.
Don't get mad at me. You were deemed by the court an unfit mother.
There's a motion to vote to remove Mr. Bellick out of the chambers.
Yes.
There's no sense in talking to these anyway. These are all lies.
Bye, Volusia.
David Sosa, please.
Let's move on.
I haven't started speaking yet, for the record. Sorry. I lost my time last time. I don't want to lose it this time. Even though I probably won't speak for 4 minutes, although I do have other issues we can discuss based on the budget and so forth. All right. Once again, Marcia, the topic of discussion for today. Okay? Why is she even sitting there? Her contract expired at the end of last month. Are you paying her to sit there tonight? If so, who authorized it? Did you guys do another secret meeting in the break room? If you didn't, she shouldn't be sitting there right now. Okay? Now, you guys had the opportunity to get a decent law firm in here the last time she was up. Right? You made the motion to get rid of the Fowler Feeney. You guys had the chance. You had 3 really good law firms apply. One of them would have been night and day. Okay? Now, you guys blew it. Why? I don't understand. So now you're having trouble getting a law firm. Well, guess what? Any respectable law firm, it's not going to come to the city now. Seriously. It really isn't. You had 3 top-notch firms that would have been sitting here tonight that would have done a good job, that wouldn't have billed us thousands of dollars to go over Robert's rules. I mean, you should know those back and forward, okay? And we're paying her tens of thousands of dollars for food truck ordinances. Come on. This is ridiculous. Now, I will say, hopefully your next charter officers have a little bit more of a thick skin for when people call them out on their BS. Okay? Because just because you want to cut me off, I don't care. I'll come up here every time and I will say what I'm going to say. You don't intimidate me. Nobody intimidates me. I am talking to them.
Mr. Sosa.
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to them. Because I'm telling them they need to make sure their next charter officer has a little more thick skin. Okay? Now, I can't believe you guys are going to give her another contract. Honestly, we'd be better off without a legal department right now.
That ends public comment.
All right. There are 2 items that were going to be pulled, which I believe were E and F. Is that correct? Sorry, it was D and E. Hold on.
And F one.
Mr. Doherty, what were the items that were going to be pulled?
Definitely F.
D.
F, E, oh, sorry, F and D.
F and D.
F, E. Okay. D is in David and F is in Frank. And then do any of the other commissioners want to pull any of the other items?
I'd like to pull I.
All right, I'd like to pull H, so it'll be H and I. So we can make a motion to table D is in David and F is in Frank.
I'd like to make a motion to approve items A through L, excluding D, F, I, and what was-
H.
and H.
There's a motion by Commissioner Harriet. Is there a second? We're approving all of them except D, F, H, and I. Second by Commissioner Avila Vasquez. We're just waiting for a vote. The motion passes 6-1. This time, I'm looking for a motion to table D and F. So moved by Commissioner Avila Vasquez and second by Vice Mayor Jody Lee. If you can please vote. D is in David, F is in Frank. Motion passes 7-0. All right, well, we can go to H now. The reason I requested it for it to be pulled, I just wanted to make sure that we, because I know they weren't at the pre-meeting agenda. This is a request for approval of Team Volusia Economic Development Corporation Cooperative Agreement for 2024 through 25. We do now have an economic development person. I'm sure you guys are already aware of that, you know, and we're looking forward to you working with them. I will tell you, and I'm sorry, I'm always that dissenting vote when it comes to you guys. It's not personal. I like each of you. I've met with you several times. But if I see no businesses, I'm going to be a hard no. And I will advocate to every one of my residents to reach out to their commissioners to do the same thing. So it is now on you. You have an economic development person here. I believe he comes with a wealth of experience. So that's that. I mean, Vice Mayor Jody Lee.
Thank you, Mayor. Like I've said there, we had a pre-agenda review. You know, I understand now we have an economic development manager. I get that. For years and years and years, anybody that owns a business, they know that Deltona has not been business friendly. They always say we're open for business. No, we're not. We never have been. Just recently, in the last couple of years, we've started changing our spotlight for businesses. And like I'll say the same thing I said in the agenda review a little while ago. I would say give them another year and let our guy get up to speed, or our team, woman, man, whoever it is. I haven't met him yet. Let them get up to speed. But I just say another year. But if we don't get no new businesses, then I say cut the purse strings on it. But, you know, we're finally doing something and moving forward with businesses. This city has been notorious on not letting businesses do business here. That has been changing over the last 2 years. I say I'd like to make a motion to approve it for another 12 months.
You guys didn't do paper, rock, scissors. There's a motion by Vice Mayor Jody Lee and a second by Commissioner Harriet. Motion passes 7-0. We're going to go to request for approval, which is I, request for approval of letter of engagement with Marcia Siegel George, Esquire, for general government law as a city attorney until the new city attorney is retained. Commissioner Harriet.
I was hopeful that we would have the another option up tonight for this item. I know that there were a couple presented to us previously, and because of that, I'd like to implore my fellow commissioners to hire somebody to represent us for the remainder of the time that we're going to be going through the search process that will best set us up for success with the permanent replacement. I don't think that this is the right thing to do. So that being said, I'd like to make a motion to hire Mr. James Stokes for option 2.
So motion by Commissioner Harriet. Is there a second? Motion dies for lack of a second. All right, Vice Mayor Jody Lee, and then City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. City Manager, do you have any idea who the Stokes is?
He was in the, yes, Vice Mayor, the email that was sent to the commission a few weeks ago as an option that was a recommendation by Colin Bainzinger if the commission was interested in going to an outside attorney.
So this is something that we've never discussed before. We just got a name thrown out and nobody's discussed it. It's the first time that name?
Correct,
Okay.
first time.
Now, I understand the whole Colin Basinger's is doing this, and we were told we were going to get an update. We've been waiting. We have, this is so, there's a lot of words I can use, but I can't use them because the mayor will hit his gavel on me. No, there's a lot of choice words I can use for this because this has been a whole crap show. This should have been taken care of 30 days ago, 60 days ago, 90 days ago, and we just keep on dragging we've all made the motion, it's all passed, it's all good. We did it once before. It's becoming a circus. Now, I know people have applied for Mr. Basinger's, a couple law firms have applied, a couple lawyers have applied. One of the questions I do have to ask, out of the couple lawyers that applied that came from Pinellas Park area or over in Pinellas County, are these any of the attorneys that you worked with before, City Manager?
No, I have not seen any candidates. That's all coming to the commission.
That's good. That's what I wanted. But as much as I want to say no, yes, and I don't even know where we have lawsuits that are pending. Not because of me. Thanks, smartass. We have lawsuits pending from prior commissions before us. We have accidents pending. We have, employees that have been in accidents. We have employees that have had different things. We've had people suing us. We really need to get on top of this. Because the only thing it's doing is with the whole circus with finding a city attorney is costing trouble, time, and money. And we really need to do something. I mean, I don't even know what the right thing to do is. But we've been playing with this for almost 2 years. We need to do something. I don't know what the right answer is, but we need to do something.
City Manager, then Commissioner Shimkus, then Commissioner McCool, then Commissioner Harriet.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to give the timeline to add here, today's October 7th. October 17th, it's expected the headhunter search firm will forward all reports and materials to the city, to the commission on October 17th. October 21st, the commission would select the finalists for interviews, and October 25th, the full interviews would take place. So we're talking in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Should be complete process, and then depending on who you choose, whether a firm or an individual, that would determine how many weeks or so may take place after that choosing at the end of this month, October 25th.
Commissioner Shimkus.
I'm going to make a motion to approve the extension of Marcia's contract with a deadline of October 31st, given that with us having interviews and other people to consider, 12 total candidates to consider on October 21st, that by that date, this commission will either have chosen one of these candidates to replace Marcia, or they will then choose an interim at that date, so that we have coverage at least till the end of the month.
Second.
So motion by Mr. Shimkus, Commissioner Shimkus, and a second by Commissioner McCool. Commissioner McCool, before we go to a vote, and then Commissioner Harriet.
Thank you. I just wanted to, I know that we have the names tendered to us, but I wanted that time certain date also. because it has been drug out. I don't believe it to be in a rush as trying to assuage the residents' concerns with us moving forward too quickly, but I do believe that we have enough information that the onus goes back on to Colin Basinger. This is of the utmost importance, and I would like that relayed to him, that I want all of their ducks in a row by that meeting, so that we do follow that timeline without exception. So either that evening, the attorney is picked, or we do have an interim, because the contention that is caused by this one subject is very time-consuming on both parties, and so I would like resolution by October 31st as well.
Commissioner Harriet, then Commissioner Villa-Vasquez, then Commissioner Colwell.
I'd like to offer a friendly amendment to the motion on the table that we pursue this Mr. James Stokes to at least handle the contract negotiations for the next full-time city attorney.
I am not amiable to that.
Who is?
Not spending time, because I've seen names on there that I recognize being attorneys, but I think it's a collective body that we make that decision. I can't go off a recommendation for one person that I have not vetted, so I'm not willing to amend my motion. I'm not willing to do that.
Commissioner Villa-Vasquez and Commissioner Colwell.
I have a question for our city manager, and I know that the decision has to be up here, but I just want to, I know that your intentions were for Marcia to sort of break in the new city manager when he comes on, or he or she, or city attorney comes on board, because we did receive a list of all the pending cases, which was a two-sided page, and we're asking for a motion for her contract to be up to October 31st. I just don't understand what the problem is, just taking it all the way down to December 31st, the end of the year. So to make it easier for that new lawyer to transition into the cases that are pending and she's currently working on. Just putting it out there. Thank you.
Commissioner Colwell.
Yeah, I would like a time certain, once we vet all the attorneys or the possible candidates, of them starting. Can we get something from Basinger to state how long it'll take us to get an attorney here once we do hire one?
I think a firm would be quicker. An individual would be a little longer if they have to give a notice. So it obviously could be 3 weeks, 4 weeks after you guys choose. But I can try to get something firm from him, but nothing right this moment.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Villa-Vasquez.
Yes, Commissioner Colwell, yes, I think he did mention it on one of his emails. If we go for an individual attorney, it's going to be much longer to have him or have the attorney transfer over as opposed to a firm, which can start immediately after they have been chosen.
Vice Mayor Jody Lee.
I'll make mine quick, but the motion was to have her here until October 31st, and then we'll have somebody else. So you want to have a temporary till we get another temporary, till we get the temporary to watch over for the long term? I mean, it's
the motion was to
keep her until 31st. So that's a month. And if after that, then we'll have somebody else in the interim until we get a permanent. So that's a temporary until we get a permanent. I mean, am I missing something? He said he only wanted to keep her here until the 31st, and then after October, no, he said October 31st.
He said October.
No, he said he made a motion until October 31st.
Yes, the motion is to amend this new contract to have it expire on October 31st. We have 13 or 12 names coming to us on the 17th. We will have interviews with whoever we choose on the 21st, 5th?
25th.
that if this commission, and I know I'm exiting quickly, if this commission cannot choose from those 12 people by October 25th, I personally am okay with at that stage having this commission choose an interim to then reinitiate, because if we can't choose one of those 12 on October 25th, we're going to be searching for another 6 months minimum. So I think at that stage, having an interim, I would be okay with. So that was the motion, that we maintain who we have until the end of October. We've got 12 people to consider in October. And if we can't choose one of those 12, meaning that all 12 options are not good enough, then we're going to be into a long-term search. And I'm okay with that as well. That's fine if it's going to take that. I don't care about that. But at that stage, I'm also now okay with moving to an interim solution.
Right, so like I was saying, like he said, till the 30 days. My only issue with it is, it's not just, I know it's up to us, but it's also up to the people that live in the city to help to make this decision. I get it, it's up to us, we make the decision, but
Mr.
Anyway.
Sorry.
Okay, that's it. Thank you, Ms. Mayor.
City Attorney, just for confirmation, we need to have a city attorney at every commission meeting, correct? And workshop, or just commission meeting, per charter?
The charter specifically calls it out for your actual meetings.
Unless we...
It also, when there is not issues that are on a workshop that you would need legal guidance, I don't think you need to have a lawyer there. Some think you should have one at all times. So it's been interpreted both ways.
Thank you, Marcia. When is our next scheduled commission meeting, Mr. City Manager?
October 21st.
October, you mean November 1st?
October.
Oh, October 21st. I apologize. I heard October 1st.
November 11th.
What's on our agenda for October 21st? Do we have anything?
This item?
This specific item only?
Yeah, well, no, there would be more, but that'll be cultivated over the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
What you thinking?
Commissioner?
Part of the issue here is that, as the Vice Mayor stated, is that this has gone on, and at the heart of the issue, there's been more noise regarding who we have in office as opposed to who we, like, not having anybody in that office. And I think that the public has been clear, and we've spent a lot of time on this, and I think that it is time that we are doing as instructed by our community while being prudent regarding the legalities of this. And I think that what Commissioner has put forth is following the letter of that, right? So we have yet to, I've seen the peruse of this, but we need to all get that list prior to the presentation, right? I think that that would open the door up to giving us some more time in order to address that. I mean, Mr. City Manager, is there indeed a list compiled right now, sir? Did Mr. Basinger send you any of the candidates?
I have not received a list.
Are there any candidates that have been submitted to you, sir, outside of the search firm's search?
No, I think early on he sent one person's name generically 4 or 5 weeks ago, but...
Formally or informally,
no,
sir?
informally. No, there's nothing that's, I don't know if the commission received anything.
Okay. I would just like to see that prior to the 21st. I think that, please...
17th, Commissioner.
Yeah, if you could contact Mr. Basinger and stress the importance of that, sir, that we need to see that before presentation. It's just, it has gone on. It's very wearisome, and we're trying to make the best decision given what we have right now. So we need that information by the beginning of next week, sir.
All right, let's go for the vote, please.
Can we repeat?
And
Can we repeat the motion, please?
To repeat the motion again, it is to retain Marcia to the 31st of October. And if at that time we have not chosen one of the candidates, whether it's an attorney or a firm, we will pick an interim at that time. And then that's it.
Mr. Mayor, I just don't want any confusion because that's not the motion presented, so.
What was it?
Not the motion that is being voted on right now. That's
What
not.
was-
Okay, I'm just saying that the motion that we have in front of us on our board is very ambiguous.
Oh, you're talking about, on the board, they're not going to, I don't.
Yeah, okay.
It's only to extend to the 31st of October.
That doesn't say that. I'm just saying that words mean something, so this doesn't state that, so. Ms. Elizabeth, do we need to give you a moment? I know that you understand the motion.
Yes, because you're saying one thing, they're saying one thing, and something else is showing up on the, and I want to make sure that I'm voting correctly for the correct motion.
That's the title of the item.
I know, but there's too many changes going on up here, and I just want to make sure that I'm listening to the right thing, or voting for the right thing.
Just make sure you unvote so it can reset.
Yes,
Just click on it again. And then click outside. Outside of that box. Yeah. There you go.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you just explain to the public, I'm sure listening, they think that there's a delay, but could you explain that Ms. Elizabeth is redoing the motion, sir?
Explain what? I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
That Ms. Elizabeth is redoing the motion so that it appears we have these up here that we vote off of, and that has to be changed, so that's what we're waiting.
It's up there now. There you go. Can you bring it back up for the vote? Because it's not on my screen. There you go.
Same thing. It's up here.
Motion passes 4-3. Okay. We're going to go to city attorney comments. Do you have any comments, Ms. Washington? No. City manager comments.
Thank you, Mayor. Two quick things. Want to introduce John Cox. Is he still here? There he is. So I'm pleased to introduce one of the newest professionals we've added to our staff, John Cox. John has accepted the role of Economic Development Director, comes to us with more than 30 years' experience in economic development, most recently having worked with the city of Holly Hill. He has also served in 3 communities in Georgia, North Carolina, and Florida as the president and CEO of their respective Chamber of Commerce's and economic development organizations. He's worked on projects anywhere from as small as $100,000 to an investment as large as $1.5 billion. John and I discussed his focus of retaining and expanding our existing businesses as well as attracting new capital investments which create well-paying jobs and employ our citizens. John has assured me he has an outstanding sense of humor. In the week and a half he's been with us, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm hoping. So, John Cox, Economic Development. Thank you.
All right, City
All right.
Commission.
Hold on, Mayor. The other part, just want to respond to a comment that's made a couple times tonight. It's not a thin-skinned response. Done this for 30 years. I've seen a lot worse. The issue is in public comment, it's not a time for personal attacks to defame or slander staff, commission, other residents. It's just inappropriate and not done in a professional setting. My point was when they start accusing the commission of things or calling people liars and others, that's unacceptable. It's not thin-skinned. It's just a professional organization. Thank you, Mayor.
City Commissioner comments and reports. We'll start with Commissioner Harriet.
Thank you, Mayor. The first thing that I'd like to, if we could get consensus to provide the Conservation Florida with a letter of support for their Echo Grant application for the property that is in the southeast corner of the city. It is in city limits, referred to as D Ranch, slated to open in, I believe, spring of 2025. I had the opportunity to tour the property with the property manager, and it's a phenomenal example of multiple ecosystems next to each other, and really what natural Florida looks like. I think we're all lucky to have this within our city limits. I think it will. It's gorgeous. It provides a lot of opportunity for us in terms of recreational growth in the city, and so I'd like to get the consensus from the commission for the mayor to sign a letter of support for their Echo Grant.
Could we do a verbal vote?
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Provide, please.
Conservation Florida with a letter of support for their D Ranch property in pursuit of an Echo Grant.
Commissioner Avila-Vasquez?
Yes.
Commissioner Colwell?
Yes.
Commissioner Harriet?
Yes.
Commissioner McCool?
Yes.
Commissioner Shimkus?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jody Lee?
Yes.
Mayor Avila?
Yes. Motion
And then-
passes 7-0.
Thank you, Commissioner. I know that was important. That's an item that's close to a few of our hearts. And then also I wanted to announce that I will be hosting a town hall in District 1 on October 18th at the Community Center at Harris-Saxon Park at 6 p.m. The tentative, and I say tentative now, the advertised topics will be Parks and Recreation and Stormwater. I have a feeling that might change a little bit with the impending storm, but I just wanted to let everybody know that there is going to be a town hall on October 18th at the Harris-Saxon Community Center at 6 p.m. I would also like to request and ask that the commission receive an update before the November 11th meeting, an update on where we are with the comp plan updates with a consultant, as well as an update on the Teresa Basin study. And then finally, last but absolutely not least, I'd like to actually just give a shout out to staff that's been working diligently over the last couple of days to prepare the city for this storm that we're going to get. Everybody wants to talk about how we're Floridians and we can handle this. This is nothing. This is different. This storm is going to be different than that, and it's time for all of us to take it serious. And I appreciate staff sacrificing their time with their family to make sure that the city's prepared. Thank you, Mayor.
Commissioner Shimkus?
Just an echo of Commissioner Harriet's thanks to the staff for their storm preps, and be safe out there, guys. Thanks.
Commissioner Avila-Vasquez?
Thank you, Mayor. I also want to give a shout out to staff. Having been working out there for about 3 days. It's also going to be open up tomorrow, I understand, to 12 o'clock, I guess, from 8 to 12, for those of you who still want to go out and get your sandbags. So great job, great work, not only to them, but also to the staff that has been driving around, making sure that our lakes are where they're supposed to be, and making sure that our roads and streets are cleaned. I know that I've been reaching back and forth with the directors and city manager regarding Waste Pro to make sure they're driving up and down to make sure they can pick up whatever debris they can pick up. And obviously, I can tell you that I've seen some debris that won't even get picked up, even if there was no hurricane. The way that people are putting it out, it's, you have to follow the codes. You're cutting down trees. You can't put a whole tree out in the front of your house and expect it to get picked up. That's a special pickup arrangements that you have to make. Please stay safe. Keep all your items inside your home for the while until all this passes. I also want to ask a consensus from the dais. The Deltona Garden is partners with the city of Deltona because they use city property and the city allows them to have their event there. So I would like to have a consensus from the dais to have their event advertised on city media.
Can we do
We were going to do that anyway, Commissioner.
Okay.
Yes, correct.
I just want to throw it out there. Other than that, please stay safe. We are opening our emergency operations center here tomorrow. I'm pretty sure the city manager will be sharing.
Tomorrow evening or early Wednesday morning, but we'll be here.
So I guess, I don't know if you're going to be talking again, but I think Wednesday the city will be closed, or should I let you share that information?
We haven't officially announced that yet, but the expected would be Wednesday, Thursday, correct?
Okay. Hopefully Milton, not the Milton that works for us here, but Milton the hurricane will slow down on the way here, and everybody please stay safe, and hopefully things will go by without any major incidents. Thank you.
Commissioner McCool?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would also like to thank city staff. I would also like to thank city staff for their very hard work that they have been doing, taking care of our residents, sandbag distribution, getting the storm prepared, doing everything that they are doing here. I also would ask us at this time to all work together so that we can get through this storm here. I have serious concerns with some other issues that I'll address after this storm has passed, but indeed they will be addressed. And in the spirit of doing what's best for our community, I will practice kindness this evening. And if any of our residents need us, we do have our cell phones. We will carry them with us. And if you need us, call us. Thank you.
Commissioner Colwell?
Yes, I'm also requesting an update on the Teresa Basin study. There's been a recent conversations about putting a bridge on Elkham with U.S. Bridge. I'm concerned about that. I was concerned about it a few years ago when we were talking with Jerry Mays. The water flows from the north, and if we open that waterway up into the next lake, is that going to flood down on Newmark? So I get a report on what's going on with this study there, and if that's included in that by putting a bridge on the Elkham. With the, Enrique Place and Tylita Place Terrace. I understand we're fining them currently. Is there any movement on that yet?
We had a couple meetings the past 2 weeks with that group that I'll have to put a report together for you guys.
I understand that group has filed a new corporation, an LLC, and is pushing another development here in this area.
They are.
I would hope that we would not allow that to happen until this is resolved.
We're working on options, correct, yes.
When they're going to be fined, are they going to pay the full fines? We're not going to give them any.
We have not made any special deals with them whatsoever at this point.
And when they reapply for permits, will they have to reapply for all new permits?
Possibly, that staff is discussing that.
Okay.
What the changes were possibly in the code and how that might affect.
Well, there's a new code out 2023, yes, that need to be addressed.
That's all going to be in a package together to discuss.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor Jody Lee.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll try to make this one short and sweet. Probably not, but all the different ones like Commissioner Caldwell was just talking about. What he was talking about is the apartments, because he has a name to them. Most people don't realize it's the name. It's the apartments behind Publix and Lowe's. They want to build more apartments in our city under a different name. which they ain't finished the first one, so we have our own I-4 Deltona eyesore. So anyway, that's a whole different ballgame. Tonight's agenda, I'm glad we all went through it. There's a couple things that I have an issue with. Different residents come up to the podium, voice their opinion, they say stuff to us, we stay quiet. I don't want to pick on you, Mr. Manager, but if a resident comes up here and is voicing his opinion, I think it's best that you discuss it with them after, call them, email them. I know what you're saying, because it's, you know how hard it is for me to come up and sit up here and people call me all kinds of names and say I'm a criminal, I'm a crook, I'm taking bribes like they do all the time, and I know I don't. But to address it right now, I think it's wrong to fight with the residents back and forth. I mean, this one gentleman was a past commissioner, like it or not, he was. And I think to engage back and forth, it gets peddly at that point. Because we can go back and forth all day long. I mean, I brought up points about you one time, and you argued with me over there, which arguing with a sitting commissioner that's one of your bosses, I don't agree with it, but it is what it is.
Isn't it the duty of the mayor to stop it?
I agree. I think it's better that we don't engage, just like we do. We just don't engage. It's easier if we don't engage. It's not hurting you, him, me, them. We just don't engage. Because I've seen everybody up here get called names. And it's hard to sit here and just to bite your tongue. I get it. It is. But to battle back and forth on this place, on the other note is, Ms. Flores, thank you for the job you're doing in HR. I know you're already up to like $1 million in saving us money from insurance, for headhunters and everything else. I appreciate the $1 million you're saving. Hopefully we can use that to pay that IRS bill we owe. So, because we all seem to forgot about that and got no update. So besides that, I want to wish everybody a safe storm. I hope everybody works together. Chief, if you need anything from any one of us, we're available to you. We know you know how to run a city. Glenn, you guys over there in Public Works, Stormwater, you guys are doing awesome. We appreciate it. We love y'all. All the city workers are, but right now you guys are going to be ones working all the hours. We appreciate you. And if you guys need anything from us, from the city, please just let us know. We are here for y'all. Thank you.
He won't be here.
So back there, the city has put out information on shelters for Hurricane Milton. The city has really no say in this, by the way, because I know a couple residents asked. This is strictly county and the county school board. There's also some FDEM information for disaster supply kit checklist, things to be prepared, and hurricane preparedness. They should all be back there. Folks, I think we can all unitedly say that this is a storm to take very serious. Last I checked, storm winds were at 180 miles per hour. We haven't had a storm from the Gulf course since the 1900s. I will tell you that, and I know some of the commissioners up here have done this as well, but I have personally been in contact with our U.S. Senator Rick Scott, our U.S. Congressman Corey Mills, our state rep, our state senator, our county councilman, and they have all said that the moment our city manager and the commission as a whole request, they'll be willing and ready to help us in whatever emergency we might have for our residents. I only say that publicly because I want residents to have peace of mind that your commission is working for you. I had a nice communication earlier today with our representative from the Red Cross, who's also readily available, and she did share some documents and stuff, which I'll send to the city manager so you can provide to the rest of the commission. It's literally things that you could do during and before the storm. I do have just very minor request. If we can look at some point in the future, doing pre-filled bags for storms versus these self-serve bags, because we do have elderly people, and I know we have staff that's there to help, but as we continue to grow as a city, I think that would be something that we can get done. Make sure that we have all of our evacuation routes signage visible and not peeling, if possible. And then the last two things are the U.S. Coast Guard has approached me a couple times, and is there any way we can set up a workshop to discuss? They would like to be able to use the red schoolhouse, which, if I'm not mistaken, former Commissioner Burbank has mentioned several times that it's a protected piece of property that we can't demolish. So if that's something that we're able to help the U.S. Coast Guard use that so they can do their things right there off Lake Shore, and hopefully help also speed up the recovery of that boat ramp would be great. Yeah. And the last thing is, I would also like a workshop on that veterans property. Both Mr. Rosario and former Commissioner King have asked several times if we can talk about it, and I think the commission has earned that right to listen to them and discuss it. So other than that, I hope everybody please stay safe, have an evacuation plan in hand before. Don't wait till the last minute. Look for water, make sure you have gas. Stay safe. Meeting's adjourned.